Hey, glad you made it. Welcome to the Rotech Engineering Open House. Come on over here and have a seat, and we'll get started. Do you like to solve problems? Do you see issues in your neighborhood, your home, your world that you think need solving? That's the heart of an engineer. An engineer will solve problems, and they'll get paid good money to do it. I'd like to show you around my lab here today and everything that Rotech Engineering has to offer. All right, so we're here in my computer lab that we have inside the classroom, so we don't have to travel to the computer lab. And I want to show you computer-aided design. This is a major tool for engineers that they use to design and iterate and recreate. And we work on everything from race cars to designing our own Legos. And this may be one of the most important skills that you'll pick up in the first level of Rotech Engineering. All right, in the second level of engineering, my students will work on using robots to solve problems. And in this particular instance, they participated in an urban search and rescue challenge, where we simulate an urban environment like this building here, where the robot has to go in and find an explosive ordnance and get rid of it in a timed fashion. So here I am demonstrating the robot driving up into the building. Pretty easy, right? All right, and that would be easy, but you've got to be able to drive your robot through a monitor, which is a whole other world than just driving it from straight on. All right, well now I'd like to introduce robotic programming. In the third level of my class, the advanced students will learn how to program and manipulate the robots autonomously, which means the robots will operate on their own, which is a whole new challenge from driving a robot. So this robot right here, for instance, should be able to autonomously pick up one of these stacks of blocks and deliver it to one of these scoring areas around the field. Let's see what it can do. Okay, so programming can also require a lot of fixing and making things better. Okay, so in the first level of engineering, we also get to work with the snap kits, which look simple, but are a great way to rip up and rebuild and learn about the basics of electricity. And in the first level of engineering, one thing you'll learn about is the difference between a series circuit and building parallel circuits. And we can iterate these things until we get them right. All right, and returning to the CAD world, I want to show you our Cura interface, which interfaces with our 3D printer. And the 3D printer is an additive manufacturing method, which means that it lays down layers of material to build up whatever you're designing. So if you've designed something in CAD, like that Lego you saw earlier in the computer lab, we can print that out over here on the 3D printer. And the great thing about trying to design a Lego is that Lego has very specific tolerances. So if you don't build it right, it doesn't snap into the system, and other blocks won't snap onto it. So obviously this student did a great job. Or you can make things like a better octopus, and maybe an octopus with a human hand. Over here, I want to introduce you to what may be the most important skill in engineering, which is the design process, or the design cycle. And that will allow you to take complex, abstract problems, which most students would be fearful of, and break them down into simple steps so that you can come to a solution that will satisfy you and your client, which the client in the classroom most of the time is me, the teacher. This right here is another manufacturing process, which is a subtractive manufacturing process. It is our laser cutter. The laser cutter will take sheets of plastic, sheets of metal, sheets of wood, and cut shapes out of that stock based on CAD models that you loaded into the machine. Another machine I want to introduce you to is the milling machine, another subtractive manufacturing process. And the milling machine can take a block of wood, like this simple block of wood here, load up a CAD file into the machine, and you can cut out your design, and in this case, build yourself a little dragster. Also, in the second level of engineering, we like to get into structural analysis and structural building, and we do that a lot of times through bridge design. And now my students have done this, the Dream Crusher But in engineering, we don't necessarily like to crush dreams, but we do like to test dreams. And there we go. We've tested our structure, and now we can go back and make it better. And before we end off our open house here, I would like to mention the opportunity to join Skills USA. Skills USA is a career-based student organization that you can join in high school and compete at the local, state, and the national level in technology-related competitions of your interest. Of course, in our classroom here in engineering, we focused on robotics and principles of engineering. And 2 years ago, as you can see from these banners here, I took those two teams to the national competition in Louisville, Kentucky, which was amazing. We were there for a week and got to meet students from all over the country. And so if you're interested in building your professional network and start building that here in high school, and meeting like-minded students that are interested in technology too, you definitely want to look into becoming a member of Skills USA. And you could also build your leadership abilities in our chapter, serving as a chapter officer or chapter secretary or treasurer. Lots of opportunities to build leadership skills in Skills USA. Okay, well that ends off our trip around the room, the Engineering Virtual Open House. I hope you enjoyed your visit. Again, we're looking for students that want to solve problems and make the world better. Maybe you have a little bit of math skill, maybe you have a little bit of artistic ability and creative ability, but we want to bring those things together here in the classroom, along with your interest in science, to actually create things and make things happen. So I hope you enjoyed your stay. It was great to have you stop by. Again, I'm Mr. Hirschman, and we'd love to see you here in the Rotech Engineering classroom.